there's the angle of elevation, which is between the horizontal and the line of sight up to an object. So highlight that. Think of an elevator going up. So it's the angle looking up to an object. That's the angle of elevation. And then what do you think the angle of depression is? If you're depressed, you're feeling down, right? It's between the horizontal and the line of sight down to an object. Let's say there's an object up here, the sun, for example, and let's say down here there's a tree. Oops. Okay? It's the angle going down, and the elevation is the angle going up. So let's do an example. We have to draw and label a diagram for the problem, okay? So number 1. Okay, so we have a 10-meter ladder that's leaning against a tree. Can we draw a tree and a ladder? Did you guys draw a ladder and a tree? Here's my tree. And the ladder is leaning against the tree because there's a cat that needs to be rescued. I don't know how to draw. There you go. They said it was a 10-meter ladder. Where would you write 10 meters? On the ladder. Good. So we know this is 10 meters. The angle of elevation to the ladder is 42 degrees. Where would you label 42 degrees? Angle of elevation. So it's
at the foot of the ladder.
From the horizontal. So let me draw horizontal, looking up to an object. So where would I label 42 degrees? At the foot of the ladder. So right here would be 42 because it's the angle of elevation is between a horizontal and the line of sight up to an object. Okay? Determine the distance from the base of the ladder to the base of the tree. So here is the bottom of the ladder, and here is the bottom of the tree. We need to find the distance. So I'm going to call this x. That's it. So let's draw it as a triangle, and then you can solve it. This is x, this is 10, and this is 42. Same thing we've been doing. Label your sides, opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, and figure out which ratio, sine, cos, or tan, do we need to use. So in relation to this angle, is x adjacent or opposite? Adjacent. And 10 is hypotenuse or opposite? Hypotenuse. It's across from the right angle, right? So we have adjacent and hypotenuse. Does the sine ratio have adjacent and hypotenuse? Does it? No. Does the cosine ratio have adjacent and hypotenuse? So that's the one we're using. So cos 42 equals, adjacent is what? X or 10? X over, what's the hypotenuse? 10. This one's easy, cross multiply. 1 times x is x. Cos 42 times 10. That's what we're going to calculate. So x is approximately equal to 7.43 meters. So that's the distance from here to here. Now for question B, there's 2 ways you could solve this. It says calculate the height of the tree. So I want to know this side length. Well, if you have 2 sides of a right angle triangle, you could use Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or you can use sine, cos, or tan to solve this. So you pick one and you solve it now, okay? Okay, so now we have to find the height of the tree, which is represented by A. So you can use SOHCAHTOA, or you can use Pythagorean theorem. You decide and solve it. Solve for A. So we know that this side's opposite and this is a hypotenuse, so I can use the sine ratio. Sine 42 equals opposite over hypotenuse, right? A over 10. Cross multiply. 1 times A is A. A equals sine 42 times 10. What is A equal to approximately? What's sine 42 times 10? So approximately 6.7 meters. Raise your hand if you got 6.7 and you used Pythagorean theorem. Awesome. Same answer.